Am I the asshole for hiding my true personality by always wearing a wig at work? So I, F21, recently started working at a corporate job and it's been around 3 months. I started dyeing my hair since last year and I change the color like every 2 months. However, I have always showed up in my workplace with a long black wig and it doesn't look fake at all since I'm South Asian with natural black hair anyway. The issue arose when one of my colleagues whom I have become friendlier with added me on my Instagram. He saw pictures of me in my shorter violet-colored hair at a concert. When he saw me the next day in person at work, he was a bit confused as I had long black hair again. He made a joke like, "You didn't tell me you had a twin sister. Was that her on your Instagram story last night?" I replied no, that was me, and told him I'm wearing a wig right now and I always have at work. He asked me why that was necessary and I just said I don't know, I think I like to make a certain appearance at work and keep it separate. He said that's way too much work and started gossiping about it with few other coworkers. They said I am going way overboard to hide my true personality. Some of them started calling me Ms. Uptight whenever they see me. I also dress in a more formal style than others, so that contributed to the name as well, I guess. I asked them to stop and they only made it worse and more defensive. I guess I could just stop wearing the wig and show up normally, but the thing is I really like the way I dress and look at work. Plus I would be out of there in a few months anyway. I sorta regret adding him on my Instagram. Am I the asshole here? Not the asshole. Report this to HR. You are not obligated to show your true personality at work. You are allowed to present whatever professional image you want in the office as long as it complies with the dress code. Your coworker doesn't get to criticize or harass you and drag your other coworkers into doing the same. Not the asshole. This dude is being inappropriate and fostering an uncomfortable working environment. I would unfriend him and refuse all interactions with him and his group that isn't directly related to work. Kill them with professionalism. And document everything. If things escalate, you may need to go to your direct supervisor to discuss your work environment. Not the asshole. But also take this as a lesson to be really careful who you add on social media. Not the asshole. You are being bullied. You are allowed to define your work-life boundaries however you like. If you prefer to have one look that makes you feel professional for when you're on the job, and more playful, fluid looks outside of work, who the hell are they to judge? And why do they care? Reeks of jealousy, insecurity, and just meanness. Definitely would restrict colleagues' account so he doesn't have so much access. Sucks when somebody has to be hurtful for no reason. I hope they stop being such petty jerks, soon. NTA, Op. Not at all. Not the asshole. Women wear wigs for all sorts of reasons and keeping a firm boundary between your work self and private self is fine. Deal with their comments for a few more months and don't add coworkers on your Insta next time. Am I the asshole for telling my brother I will help him and his children but not his wife? My brother and I were adopted into the same family. He's white and I'm a dark-skinned black woman. Our parents were an interracial couple and our family had some unique challenges over the years, but our parents did their very best by us and tried their hardest to get us as much information as possible with our birth families. It was a little easier with mine because I was orphaned and I had 2 older living birth relatives who were just incapable of caring for me and needed care themselves. My brother had a very different story and he had no information at all. When he was 20 he met his wife. They married after 2 years of dating. She always gave me bad vibes. Around the time they got engaged he told me she kept bringing up his birth family and how he should find them before the wedding. I had told him he didn't have to do anything but he knew mom and dad would help him and he'd have my support. She went behind his back to find him via DNA and it was a shit show. But for some reason he forgave her and decided to meet the people, which she was thrilled about. It was around that time she told me to get lost because he had sisters who were actually related to him and not, you can guess the slur, who always made his life more difficult. She told me I was crazy if I thought I'd be in her wedding photos. She also said our parents should get used to having only one child. My brother had already started to pull away by then, and because I was hurt and angry, I never told him what went down between his now wife and I chose to not attend his wedding, and I know from our parents that the day was very messy. 6 years of no contact happened and then he reached out and apologized for letting anything come between us. We have been back on speaking terms for over a year now. It took a while but we are doing so much better. I always loved my brother but was hurt by the stuff that went down between us and me and his wife. A few days ago my brother's family ended up in a shelter. He lost the job he had for many years and took a huge pay cut in the new one at the same time that his former landlord decided to illegally kick them out by changing the locks. My brother did contact a lawyer, but nothing is as fast as they show in TV and the movies, and they have no place to go. I live in the same city, which would allow him to keep what job he has now at least, and so he asked if they could stay. I said I would help him and the kids and they could stay. But his wife is not welcome in my home. He told me he would take that, which did surprise me some. His wife is pissed. She came after me about separating her children from her and how unhealthy it will be for them to see her in a shithole while they're safe and comfortable with me. She called me all kinds of names like petty and bitchy and an asshole. But it was the comment about the kids that got me questioning. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Nope. Let's call her what she is, a racist. She can't call you names to your face and encourage your brother to cut ties, then want to be looked after because it suits her. I would have told him and would still suggest you tell him now, because if she is bringing up the kids to have the same attitude, then nothing gets resolved. You have set a boundary, keep to it. Edit. It's been mentioned that I'm implying that she shouldn't have told her brother about not telling him. Please let me clarify, I would have told him. I believe Op should have told him, but I felt she did well in keeping calm and not going nuts on his wife. I will re-edit the comment. Not the asshole at all. That woman is hideous, and I hope this is the first step in your brother divorcing her and taking full custody of the children. If you haven't already, it's time to explain to your brother what she said and why you refused to let her into your life. Provide a safe and loving home for your brother and his kids. Be a model for a loving and secure family relationship. It may be the first time they see a woman give them consistent loving attention, because I doubt their mom is doing it. Not the asshole. You don't feel safe having a racist woman in your home. Therefore she is not allowed in. Not the asshole. She can't expect you to help her after she treated you like garbage and outed herself as a racist. She brought this 100% upon herself, and she also sounds like a bad influence for the children. She's the asshole, not you. Not the asshole. Her racist ass can stay in a shelter. Tell your brother what she said to you also. Am I the asshole for allowing my niece to use my daughter's wedding venue after she cancelled her wedding? I, 52F, have 2 children with my husband, Mark, 54M. This issue is about my daughter, Allie, 26F. She is very upset with me because I am going to allow my niece, Victoria, 29F, to hold her wedding at my beach home, rental property. This is a rather large home and it has a pool and private beach access, which is the main selling feature of the home as a venue. I do vacation rentals and event rentals in the home. I want to add that I am not a wealthy person and this property is used as a source of income, so I will explain how I purchased it because it is relevant. My father was not a good man. He was especially terrible to my sister, Carol, 57F, and my mom, deceased. He was okay with my brother, 55M, and me for some reason. Well, it would turn out that my father had money. We are not sure where it all came from, but when he died, he left it all to me. He explicitly left my sister, who has had ongoing addiction issues, and my brother because he is gay, another story. I decided to purchase the home and set up a business. My sister and brother are not involved, but they have free access to the home when it is not in use, and I use some of the profits to help my sister and will send my brother a check yearly. So to the issue, Allie was supposed to get married in May, but her fiancé called off the wedding in November and she is devastated. I really do feel for her. She was going to use the home and we were even doing some renovations to get it ready. Victoria got engaged in December and last week Victoria called and asked if she would be able to use the home in September, and I said of course. When I talked to my daughter last night I mentioned this and she flipped out. I was really shocked at her reaction, but she said I am rubbing salt in the wound by allowing her cousin to steal her wedding venue. She went on and on about how she should be the first wedding there. She isn't, there is one the week before her now cancelled wedding. She said she will not attend because she will be suffering the whole time knowing it should have been her. My niece has had a tough life due to her mother's issues, and I know providing her with a venue would allow her to have a wedding she would not otherwise be able to afford, which I tried to explain to Allie. She said I am picking my niece over her, and I pointed out that I would have let my niece use it even if Allie got married there. She said it wouldn't have been a problem if her wedding wasn't cancelled. But I should have compassion for her the way I do for my niece. The way I see it is that my siblings and I should have equally inherited from our father. I chose not to alter the estate because I didn't trust my sister with all that money, but her daughter should benefit from the money the same way my daughter can. I try to be as generous as possible with her and her brother, but maybe I am going too far. Not the asshole. It is awful what your daughter is going through, but that shouldn't make things harder for your niece. Not the asshole. Your niece's wedding is a good 4 months after Allie's now cancelled wedding was scheduled and close to a year after breakup. While I can't imagine her upset, it's not fair for her to expect people to accommodate her wishes on this. Not the asshole. I mean, what your daughter is going through really sucks, but your niece shouldn't be punished for it. As well, it sounds as if the free access you have extended to your siblings makes her use of it completely valid. Your daughter will come around, I hope. It's ridiculous for her to want weddings banned at the venue until she finds herself a new husband. Currently no one's trying to marry her. She's being selfish, entitled and very bitter. I hope she finds herself some therapy. Don't punish the niece because of your daughter's failed engagement. Your niece will be very appreciative of your kind gift. Hopefully your daughter will be less bitter that far in the future, if not her attendance isn't necessary. In ta. Not the asshole. I'm suffering, so everyone should suffer, is what your daughter is really saying. Yes, it's terrible what happened to her, but she's overreacting. Let her know it's okay to mourn the loss of her relationship, but other people can still have their joy. Am I the asshole for airing out my bio dad's dirty laundry in front of his friends? I, 26 female, am not close with Nathan, aka my bio father. I don't have very many memories of him in my life when I was younger, and the ones I do have aren't great. He had some substance issues and he wasn't always kind to my mother. So the distance was really for my well-being. He cleaned his act up, got married, and had 3 kids. I don't know the kids, but I've spoken to his wife once or twice. I know social media doesn't tell all, but from what I've seen, he seems like a great dad and good husband. I'm genuinely happy for him and his family. Nathan contacted me about 7 years ago after my mom died. It was just to offer his condolences and ask me if I needed anything. I rejected his offer to help me with burying her or anything like that, and I ended up going to school abroad on a scholarship, so I didn't ask him for any financial help later on either. We had some contact but not much. Mostly he'd say happy birthday, happy holidays, and I'd say thanks, but there were occasional conversations. I had a baby in April of last year, and my husband and I finally got around to flying back to the country that I'm from in order to show our daughter where I grew up. I know she won't remember this trip, but it's important to me that she meet my mom, even if it's just her headstone. One of my mom's old friends ended up telling Nathan that I was in town, and Nathan ended up calling me and inviting me to eat at a local restaurant. My husband encouraged me to go, so I did. When I got there, it was awkward at first and we made some small talk for a minute, but then a few of his friends ended up walking in and coming up to us. They started saying how much my dad bragged about me and my siblings, how they've been dying to meet his kid who moved to another country for school, etc. One of them said how nice it was that my dad was finally going to be able to meet his granddaughter, and Nathan said how excited he was to do all the things with her that he used to do with me. I must have made a face because Nathan asked what was wrong, and I said that I don't remember any of the things we used to do together because we only started talking again when I was 19 after my mother died, and before then he was either intoxicated or just never around. He said that I was making him sound like a bad dad, and I said, "You seem like a good one to your kids, but you weren't my dad at all." I left after that, and he ended up texting me later saying how crappy it was of me to just throw his past mistakes out there, especially in front of his friends, and that I could have picked another time to air out our history. I haven't responded to his texts. Not the asshole. You have an estranged relationship, I don't know what he expected to happen here. Not the asshole. He brought up your shared past in front of his buddies, and is pissed that you told the truth instead of catering to his new image. Not the asshole. He shouldn't have lied in front of you and his friends on how he was a father to you. He wasn't in your life and didn't do the things he was claiming. Why should you go along with his lies? Not the asshole. He could have been honest with his friends from the beginning to avoid this. Not the asshole. Did he really think that wasn't going to surface the first time you two got face to face? He hasn't gotten any smarter if so.